So with this, we ended our discussion on three important life processes, that is nutrition, respiration, and transportation. And I hope that you have got a very clear idea about what are these life processes. So now we will start with the last life process of this lesson, that is excretion. So let us see what is excretion. So as I said, during so many activities taking place inside the body, a lot of waste products are also formed as a result of these processes. Now the body does not want to accumulate these waste products in itself. So the body wants to get rid of them. And this process of waste removal is called excretion. So it is the process of removal of harmful metabolic wastes from an organism's body. So now we will see how is that excretory system developed in plants as well as in animals. Now, different organisms adapt different ways to excrete wastes. There are some simple unicellular animals which excrete through diffusion across their body surface. They do not have any specialized organs for excretion. Whereas there are some multicellular advanced animals where we have a separate organ system with some specialized organs to perform this process of excretion. So let's look into detail the excretory system which is present in plants as well as human beings. So why do we need to excrete? What is the need for excretion? To maintain the correct ionic balance in the body, because when the amount of waste materials or harmful materials increases inside the body, it can adversely affect the ionic balance in the body. It can also affect the amount of water in the body. It is very much necessary that we maintain the correct amount of water in the body. If the water level in the body increases too much or it decreases too much, then that is not good, right? So the correct amount of water needs to be maintained. Toxic level rises in body, leading to diseases. So when so many harmful substances stay in the body, what will happen? It will cause harm to the body. It can lead to several types of diseases. Immunity is also adversely affected. That means the immune system of the body, the ability of the body to fight against diseases. That immune system is also adversely affected if there are too many waste materials inside the body. So because of all these reasons, it is very important that proper excretion of the wastes is done. So let us look at the excretory system in plants. How do plants excrete the waste materials? Let us look at the process of photosynthesis. What happens in the process of photosynthesis? We see that carbon dioxide combines with water in presence of chlorophyll and light to form glucose plus water plus oxygen. Now this oxygen which is produced here, is it utilized for any other purpose? It is utilized for respiration. But when you do not consider the process of respiration, this oxygen is of no use as far as the process of photosynthesis is concerned. So it has to be given out. So oxygen is a waste product which is utilized during respiration. So as far as photosynthesis is concerned, the good product is glucose. Oxygen is of no use. So oxygen is a waste product as far as this process of photosynthesis is concerned. So how do we get rid of that oxygen? That oxygen is again utilized during respiration so that the accumulation of that oxygen does not take place inside the plants. Similarly, water is another waste product which is secreted here. So how do we get rid of that water? That water is excreted through transpiration. I talked about transpiration. It is nothing but loss of water from the stomata on leaves in the form of water vapor. So that is how the water is also excreted. Now, not only this oxygen and water, plants also excrete in the form of resins, gums, alkaloids like quinine which is often, see, all these materials are useful to us. These resins are glue-like substances. So these are useful to us, which are used for making gums and all those things. Also this quinine which is used for medicinal purposes. They are useful for us. But what do these plants do? They excrete or they keep their waste materials in such substances because they know that they will get rid of these substances. These substances will get out of the plant's body in some time. So that is how they can get rid of the wastes. Plants also excrete through leaves or bark which fall off later. Like in deciduous plants which shed their leaves during the shedding season, what do? They keep their waste materials on the leaves because they know that the leaves are going to get shaded. So when the leaves shade off, the materials or the waste products are also shaded off with the leaves. So that is how the plants also get off their waste products. So these are some of the ways by which plants excrete the waste materials. Have a very specific excretory system. The way we have a specific circulatory system consisting of some specific organs, the way we have a respiratory system, the way we have a digestive system, similarly we have a very specific well-organized excretory system in human beings. So this system consists of a pair of kidneys, which you can see here. They are the two bean-shaped structures, a pair of ureters. These tube-like structures which you can see here, they are the ureters. A urinary bladder which you can see here, this peach-colored structure, and a urethra. So this small opening is urethra. So these four organs together form the excretory system in human beings. So let us see how does excretion actually take place with the help of these organs. So what are these kidneys? Kidneys are located in the abdomen. As I mentioned, this was the thoracic cavity. So this the end of the thoracic cavity, and this is the start of the abdomen. So in the abdominal cavity is located the kidneys. Two kidneys are present, one on either side of the backbone. So the backbone runs somewhere here. So on either side of the backbone we have one kidney. Their shapes are in the form of a bean. There is a notch on the inner concave side of each kidney that is called hilum. What is hilum? This is hilum. So you see there is a notch-like structure here on the inner side. So this is known as hilum. So the notch-like structure is called hilum. Then we have a pair of ureters. These are slender tubes arising from the hilum of each kidney. So from hilum these ureters are arising. They are nothing but thin tube-like structures. They open into the urinary bladder. So we have this urinary bladder. It is a pear-shaped structure, vascular reservoir of urine. So this is basically a storage for urine. All the urine gets collected in this urinary bladder, and this opens into the urethra. So what is urethra? Urethra opens to the outside through urethral aperture. So here we have a small hole which is called urethral aperture. So through this urethral aperture, the urethra opens to the external environment. The length of the urethra is longer in males than in females. So this length of the urethra, in case of a human male, it is quite longer when compared to the females. In females, it is very short in structure, and that is why the structure of the urethra looks very different in a male than in a female. So this was a short description of the various organs of the excretory system. Now let us see how exactly does excretion happen in human beings. Now wastes are excreted in the form of urine. So the urine which we pass at some frequent intervals of time, that is nothing but they are the waste products. So we are actually getting rid of all the wastes inside our body in the form of urine. So urine is produced in the kidneys. So the kidneys are the structures where urine formation take place, and then the urine passes through the ureters, which are the tube-like structures. So the urine produced in kidneys, and then the urine moves through the ureters and it reaches the urinary bladder, which is the storage for urine. Now the urine gets collected in urinary bladder. When a good amount of urine gets collected, then a pressure is created in the urinary bladder to excrete that urine. So then what happens? Then that urine is passed to the urethra, and through the urethral aperture that is excreted out to the environment. Right? So this is how actually excretion take place in human beings. But now the question is, how is this urine produced in kidneys? How actually the urine production takes place? So let us try to understand the production of urine. The main purpose of excretion is to remove wastes like urea and uric acid from the blood. As I said, during the variety of metabolic activities taking place inside the body, a lot of waste products are formed. For example, urea, uric acid, and so on. So such products need to be get rid of. So our aim is to remove these kind of materials from the blood. So the main filtration occurs in the kidneys. So kidneys are the actual organs where actually we get rid of the waste products. After kidneys, whatever is there, they are just used to pass the urine, because the formation of urine is all about getting rid of the waste products. Now once the urine is formed, after that ureters will only carry the urine, urinary bladder will only store the urine, and urethra will help in the passage of urine. Right? So the main filtration or the filtration of the waste products actually takes place in the kidneys. So we need to understand the structure of the kidneys well to understand how urine is produced. Now the basic filtration unit in kidneys are the nephrons. The kidney is made up of a large number of units of nephrons. So each unit of kidney is known as nephron. Now if we understand the structure and the function of each nephron, then we can understand the function of the kidney. So it is very, very important that we understand the structure of the nephron. Each kidney has many nephrons packed together, as I said just now. So let us look at the structure of a nephron. So this is how a nephron looks like. I'm sure you might be wondering that if nephron is are the units of kidneys, that means it looks so complicated, and there are many such nephrons which are present inside the kidneys. I know that sounds weird, but that is the fact. That is how it is. So let us quickly look at the structure of a nephron. A nephron consists of very thin walled blood capillaries which are known as glomerulus. So what are glomerulus? Here you can see these are glomerulus. Inside this structure you have very thin walled blood capillaries. So from where does this blood capillaries arise? These capillaries actually arise from arteries which bring blood containing wastes and excess water from different parts of the body. Now since we know that kidneys are the organs where excretion had to take place, so that means all the blood of the body which contains waste products, that means all the bad blood of the body should be brought to the kidney. So who will bring those bloods? The arteries. So now arteries the arteries which bring these blood containing wastes and excess water from different parts of the body, they form very thin blood capillaries known as glomerulus. So you can see these are the arteries, this red blood which is carrying the oxygenated blood. This blood containing waste products is brought here and they form thin walled blood capillaries known as glomerulus. Each capillary is associated with the cup-shaped end of a tube that collects the filtered urine. This is called Bowman's capsule. So if you see here you see there is a cup-shaped end of a tube. If you look at this orange colored tube, you see the end of this tube is cup-shaped. So this is known as Bowman's capsule. So the glomerulus is associated with a Bowman's capsule, and this Bowman's capsule is just one end of a tube. And if you look at this tube, it is a coiled structure and it is a very long tube in fact. So if you see here, see it is a coiled structure which moves like this, and this is again a coiled structure which finally enters into the collecting duct. So what does this collecting duct do? It is going to collect the filtered urine. Now how is the urine getting produced, or how is the blood which is containing waste products is getting filtered? Now what happens is that the glomerulus is attached to the Bowman's capsule and the other end of the Bowman's capsule is the collecting duct. Now whenever the blood comes here, so the blood is right now containing the waste products as well. Clear? So now what we aim to see is, now we understand the structure of a nephron. It consists of very thin capillary like structure arising from the arteries which are bringing the bad blood, the blood containing waste products. These small capillaries are called glomerulus, and each glomerulus is connected to a cup-shaped end of a tube which is called Bowman's capsule, and this tube is a coiled structure which ultimately leads to the collecting duct. So the collecting duct collects the filtered urine. So now that we have understood the structure of nephron, let us try to understand the process of urine formation. How exactly the urine is formed. Now, substances like glucose, amino acids, salts, and good amount of water are selectively reabsorbed as the urine flows along the tubular part of the nephron. So here you see, this is the glomerulus, this is the Bowman's capsule, and this Bowman's capsule is connected to this tubular part. So this is known as the tubular part of the nephron, this tube-like structure, the long tube-like structure. Now, as the blood passes through this tube-like structure, what happens? All the good things which are present in the blood, that are reabsorbed. Good things like glucose, amino acids, salts, and good amount of water, all these things are selectively reabsorbed as the urine passes through it. So now when all the good things are absorbed, whatever is left back is the bad thing. So whatever is left back is nothing but the urine. So finally the liquid which reaches the collecting duct, that is nothing but the urine. So the amount of water that is absorbed depends upon the amount of wastes in the body and the amount of excess water in the body. As I said, the blood which is coming from these arteries, it is the blood which is containing the wastes, and it is also containing all excess water in the body. Right? So now the amount of water which will get absorbed while this blood passes through this tubule, it will depend upon how much water was excess in the body, and it will also depend upon how much waste is there on the body. So depending on that, the amount of water will get absorbed. So now when all the good things get absorbed, so by the time it reaches the collecting duct, we are left with the urine. So this is how urine formation will take place. So now once the urine is formed in the collecting duct, so now you can imagine that inside the kidney you have many such nephrons. Now the collecting duct of each nephron will be producing urine. So all this urine collected together will be the urine which is formed by the kidney. Now these urine will then pass to the ureters, and from ureters it will reach the urinary bladder. So urinary bladder will collect the urine till the pressure increases. Now when a lot of urine gets collected there, then the pressure to send the urine outside will increase. However, the bladder is under the nervous control. That means the bladder is connected to our brain. So that is why we can control the urge of urination. For example, somebody wants to urinate, but if he is in some meeting or if he is into some urgent work, he thinks that okay, let me urinate after 10 minutes, and he is able to do that. That is because the urinary bladder is under the nervous control. You will understand more about nervous control when we learn about the nervous system in our next lesson, that is control and coordination. So for now, you just understand that the urine passes from the collecting duct of the nephrons, and then it goes through the ureters, it reaches the urinary bladder, there it gets collected. Finally, when too much of urine gets collected there, the pressure increases. And when the pressure increases, it is finally passed to the outside through the urethral aperture of the urethra. So let us have a quick review of the urine formation. So here you can see the kidneys. So this is the left kidney and this is the right kidney. Now each of these kidneys will contain many such nephrons. Each of these nephrons will produce urine from their collecting duct, and all such urine will get collected together and they will come down these two ureters, the left ureter and the right ureter. They will get collected in this urinary bladder. When the pressure increases, from here it will go out through the urethral aperture of the urethra. Okay, so this was all about the excretory system. With this, I think we have reached towards the end of this lesson as well. So let us quickly look at a question. The kidneys in human beings are a part of the system for nutrition, respiration, excretion, or transportation. Needless to answer that it has to be excretion. Right? So I hope that this lesson on life processes, wherein we talked about nutrition, respiration, transportation and excretion, would have helped you in understanding the concepts. So please understand things before you memorize anything. So see you all in the next lesson.